Hello everyone, I hope you're doing really well. So I'm apologising first of all for missing my first Friday upload, since this channel started. Unless I am really poorly, I will not be missing it. So yeah, as you can tell, I was unfortunately not feeling well. I'm going to get straight into the video with, as you can tell by the title, my current photography kit. And it's quite an unconventional kit, although I would say I am definitely in the professional realm. I am not someone who's been doing this for years and years and years, and I did not have a huge amount of money, aka £10,000, to begin this journey with. So my kit currently consists of Canon and Fuji, and both of them are cropped APC sensor cameras, which I know some people are like, that's not professional, but you know what? I don't agree that only full frame is professional, because then the argument could be said that actually full frame is not professional, only medium format is professional, right? So it actually doesn't really matter. Whilst your tools do matter to a certain extent, it's the skill behind the camera that determines a good picture or not. And I think a lot of people become very finicky about having the latest gear, but actually are not putting the time and work into their skills and improving their skills and becoming better photographers themselves. Because a really good photographer could take a £100 camera and make a beautiful photo out of it, and someone who's never really touched a camera before could be given a £10,000 camera and actually not make a great picture out of it, So yeah, I feel like a lot of people get very caught up in that, and I just want to sort of say that at the start because I'm definitely not one of those people. So my kit consists of a Canon 80D and a Fujifilm X-T4. Obviously I got the Canon 80D way before I got the X-T4, and I talked a little bit about my whole journey into photography and how I became a photographer in my last video, which I will link in the iCard somewhere here. And the camera I'm currently filming on is actually my Fujifilm one. This is the first day that I am filming on it, and I'm kind of loving it, although the quality is very high. So 4K, you're seeing all the flaws and everything. I'm just going to pause you there and get my camera 1 second. So I currently shoot with two bodies, as I said, and the first one is this Canon one. This is a traditional DSLR camera, and actually now that I'm so used to my Fujifilm, I'm finding this quite heavy, quite annoying to hold, honestly. Even though it's not the biggest camera ever, but it is much more chunky and clunky than a mirrorless camera, which is why so many photographers do switch to mirrorless, because it's just a lighter bit of kit and it's nicer to use and easier to use. But besides the fact that it's bulky, it's done well. It's not the best photography camera by any means, but it does its job. However, I am absolutely itching to switch this out for another Fujifilm body. I'm not sure if I should wait till the X-T5, both financially and from a sense of like, hopefully the X-T5 is going to have better autofocus. That's the main thing that I really want from it. We'll just have to hang on and see, and then if not, I might end up actually just getting another X-T4 or possibly an X-T3, because I kind of love the screen on the X-T3, and the X-T3 is such good value for money. As you'll see in this video, I have invested and am investing in building up my Fuji lens collection. I am not going to be buying any more Canon lenses. With that being said, the Canon lens that I always use is actually not from Canon. It's a Sigma lens. It's a Sigma 33mm 1.4. This is one of their art range lenses, and actually I don't hear many people talk about it at all, but it's a beautiful lens. A lot of people love the 35mm from Sigma, and then there's also the, I can't remember the name now, it's gone from my head, but I'll leave it here. That is one that's been raved about for a very long time from Sigma. But this one definitely does a job. So 30mm on a cropped, it just looks like what your eye would see. And I noticed straight away the massive difference from this lens, like from my old kit lens and my 50mm that I already talked about in my last video, which was not a Canon one, although I have used a Canon one before. And this, the 1.4, does make a big difference with the blurry background, with the amount of light that it lets in. It does the job, but I cannot wait to get a second Fujifilm body. This camera is attached to my strap, which I absolutely love. So I know that on YouTube, the hold fast moneymaker straps are the ones that are really popular. This is pretty much a version of it, but in my opinion even better because it is customized. So it's a leather strap, and I've got Ikra photography written on the sides over here, and then the back is like my favourite part. I've got Ikra photography over here, and a lot of people do actually notice that. I've been at a couple of events, and then I've heard people say, oh yeah, it's Ikra photography, and then they can just quickly search me up. So it's a really good way of marketing whilst also carrying your straps. And the reason why I personally like to have two cameras is so that I can have two different fields of view on me, and I do only shoot with prime lenses. I feel like that could possibly change in the future. I would not be opposed to getting a zoom lens, but I do love a good prime lens. They are very sharp, and yeah, I do prefer prime lenses. So I have the 30mm on this side. The camera that I'm using to film is my X-T4, and the lens I'm using is a 23mm, which is a brilliant focal length for getting kind of the whole picture in, really. It is one of my favourites. I have the f2 version because it is smaller in size, it is faster, and it's also cheaper obviously than the 1.4. So yeah, I really like it, and that kit as a whole, like the 23 on the X-T4, is so much more small and compact and succinct. I love it. The bag that I have most, like basically all my gear in, is this one. It's just an Amazon bag. It's nothing that special, but it does the job. And on the inside it looks like this, so I can carry one of my camera bodies on the inside here. I have a Fujifilm, just like a lens cloth over here, which you can even store things in as well. And then this is one of my favorite lenses ever, the Fujifilm 35mm 1.4. If you guys are Fuji shooters, you would have heard that this is supposed to be like one of their magic lenses. It means it has a different rendering to most of the other lenses, and it gives a really beautiful, soft, filmic look. Any pictures that I can share, I'll put them on the screen now to show you. This is like an amazing lens, and I see why it gets so much hype. I mean, the negatives of this lens is that it is an older focusing system. The autofocus is slower, and it's kind of noisy, so you can hear it. I would not be able to film with this lens because it would constantly be going. But for photos, this lens is absolutely stunning, and I love how it is so beautiful, but it's still quite a small, nice, compact lens. When I do family shoots, this is the main lens that just stays on the body. When I am doing like the portrait shots inside as well, because it's a 1.4 and it lets in more light, I love having this lens on there. It is gorgeous, absolutely love it. But the first lens I actually got alongside the 23 was a 16mm. So this is the Fujifilm 16 2.8. Now obviously they do have a 1.4 as well. Again, a lot more expensive, but this is a really fantastic wide lens to get the bigger picture, to get, you know, the whole venue shot, to get the whole room shot. I like to use this to get more of a wider field of view essentially. This is not one of my most used lenses, but I have noticed that if I'm at an event for longer than 2 or 3 hours, I always do start with this lens, and like sometimes I'll switch to it. But can you see why now I really want a second Fujifilm body rather than the Canon? Because the 30 stays on there, but I'd much rather be able to just switch out my other Fuji lenses than just have one body and switch out between 4 lenses. So talking about the fourth lens, the fourth and final lens that I have so far in my collection is a Fujifilm 90mm. As you can see, this is the biggest, the heaviest, the most meatiest lens from all of them, especially when you put the lens hood on, which sometimes I do shoot with, especially from outside. That is a very big lens. It's much more like a DSLR size kind of lens compared to a little 35 with a lens cap on. It's a big difference. You might be wondering why I don't have the 56mm lens. Now I actually ended up hiring the 56 twice, and then I also hired the 90mm once. And honestly, as much as the 56 does produce really nice pictures, I don't know if it was just the copies that I got, but I found it very frustrating to work with. Now maybe now that I have become much more used to the Fuji and I've been shooting with it much more consistently, I would still really like it. However, once I got my hands on the 90mm and I tried this out instead, this was everything that I wanted the 56 to be. It's so much faster with focusing, it's much sharper as well, and it just gives the most beautiful blurry compression that I have seen in the Fujifilm range. Now obviously these are not full frame cameras, so you're not going to get as much bokeh, but this gives more than enough in my opinion, and I just was amazed. So I ended up getting this lens over the 56, and I'm thinking in the future to get the Viltrox 56 instead and see how that goes. Obviously I know some people are very much like only Fuji shooters, especially for professional work, but when I watched a comparison between the Fuji and the Viltrox, one of the YouTubers who I really trust, he said that actually if I had to choose between the two, I would definitely go for the Viltrox because it's much faster autofocus and it's a little bit sharper as well. And chromatic aberration, you can fix that in post. So yeah, that's my kit currently in terms of lenses. For the Canon, I also do have the 10 to 18mm lens. I basically essentially got this for vlogging when I was using it as a log camera, which was I can't believe now I was actually using it as a log camera. It's mind-blowing to me. And then this is my Yongnuo 50mm. In terms of the Fujifilm 50mm range, like I said, I'm not going to be getting 56 by Fujifilm. I tried the 50 f2 that my cousin has, and I liked it, but it wasn't enough for me to like want to get it straight away. And then the 50.1, it's beautiful, but it's also £1,000, and at this stage I'd much rather put that £1,000 into buying a second Fujifilm body than on a lens. And I'm not booking out weddings that are like I'm charging £2,000-3,000 for, you know, like on a regular basis. I've never booked a wedding that I've charged over £1,000 for yet, so I can't justify it at the moment. But hopefully as the channel grows and I grow as a photographer and I start booking out more and more clients and getting more experience, then you are going to see a difference in terms of equipment. And then the other thing I have in the middle here is my flash. This is the Godox V862F flash. I'm going to be honest, I have very little experience with this. This is one of the areas where I really need to practice and watch more YouTube video tutorials and read more up on, because I do not like using flash. I'm actually much more used to using these kind of LED lights for my lighting, because I come from a blogging and filming background, and this worked really well for taking pictures. So for me, an LED light is great, but I know some photographers absolutely cringe at the idea of propping up a video light for the lighting. But sometimes in a dark situation in a hall or a venue, this actually works really well. But I know that obviously it's each to their own, and yeah, I'm still learning, so let's keep it let's be nice here, okay? And then I do also, with my dual camera strap, they also sent a little hand strap, which I love. So when I'm using the Fujifilm for day to day, I just pop this on, and it just means it's a little bit more secure. I can just put my hand in here and just keep it like that, and I'm not likely to drop it. So that is my current filming kit. It's pretty much everything else. Okay, I totally forgot to quickly talk about what I wear when I'm actually shooting. So I've got my dual strap on, and then I have this bum bag, and this is literally just a Herschel Supply Company bum bag. It's not anything specifically photographic related, but yeah, it's really nice and big. In here I keep my spare batteries. I usually keep 2 lenses from Fuji because they're so small and easy to just stash away in here. And I can even get my flash in here as well, which means that I don't need to keep rushing back and forth to my rucksack. And I also don't need to keep my rucksack on me, because when you're in the motion and in an event, you don't really have time to be rummaging around through things. You just need to quickly take one, snap it off, put the other one on, and not fuss. So this isn't the best solution in terms of the fact that there's no like compartments, but it definitely does the job, and it's comfy to wear too. So yeah, thought I'd quickly add that in. That's pretty much my kit right now. So I would say 60% of the time the 35mm is on my camera, my X-T4. 30% of the time it's my 23, and then the rest of the time it's outdoor shoots. There's always a 90 for the portrait shots, and then a little bit of the 16. The next thing on my list, like I said again, is to upgrade the Canon body to a Fuji, which I'm so looking forward to doing. But yeah, if you have any questions, definitely let me know down below, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Take care. Bye.